Welcome to UpperEdge on Full Throttle TV for tonight's London Recreational Racing Cup Series powered by Road Life event. We're just moments away from getting underway with tonight's racing program, but first let's take a moment to thank the people that make it possible. London Recreational Racing. London Recreational Contracting has gained a remarkable reputation as an industry leader in concrete pool and spa construction by focusing on three key factors: quality, creativity, and outstanding customer service. A proud sponsor of countless racing vehicles and events, London Recreational is a leader on and off the track. The Circle Alliance. The Circle Alliance is a digital and online global marketing firm, providing marketing, promotional, and advertising platforms. The Circle Alliance showcases a diverse collection of musical artists, male and female models, and business organizations using a vast variety of digital and online sources to market clients' products and services worldwide. The Circle Alliance is the vehicle for your vision. Our Expression Studio, a small digital studio with corporate-style passion, creativity, and capability. Our Expression has a diverse clientele base that extends from massive web development and CMS projects to the finest detail in a graphic design project for a low-budget race team. Motor Components. Facet Purelator self-priming high-lift electronic fuel pumps are the specified choice of both domestic and foreign nameplate, original equipment diesel and gasoline engine manufacturers.
And we welcome you to the Richmond International Raceway for the London Recreational Cup Series, UpperEdge Racing, the 2016 UpperEdge All-Star Showdown here tonight. A 100-lap event around this small little short track here tonight. No points on the line tonight, and with that, have a whole different format on how we're going to run this race tonight. I'm Justin Kolb alongside Thomas Bressie here tonight, filling in for the ailing Michael Skinner, also dealing with the effects of Hurricane Matthew. So we wish him all the best and are praying for him during that time. But right now we're going to go to how this race is going to look tonight with the segments. Just about every All-Star race has them, and tonight will be no exception. Top left there, you can see all the event or drivers in the event tonight, and you can add three more to that list. Ryan Dyson, Michael Fennelson, and Trevor Rapolo all race their way in the All-Star Sprint. The layout just underneath there. That's not the race they're racing tonight. Four drivers could make it in. Ryan Dyson, Trevor Rapolo, 1 and 2 Segment 1. And then Trevor Rapolo ended up winning Segment 2 with Michael Fennelson finishing second there as a top 2 advance. But what we need to look at here is tonight with 3 segments. Segment 1 going to be 50 laps here tonight. That starting order going to be determined by a single 5-minute round of qualifying here tonight. That's just about to start here. An optional pit stop during the break. So once this once this segment ends, these drivers have an option to come down pit road. But you do have to make at least one green flag stop in the segment and cannot be before a restart. Segment 2 going to see 35 laps, an optional pit start there. And I should mention the winner of Segment 1 will start first in the final segment. And then the winner of Segment 2 will start second. And then Segment 3 is going to be the money segment with only 15 laps to finish it. As you can see there, segment winners will start 1 and 2 for that restart. And the winner will take home $25 here tonight. So as we go back to the track here, as I mentioned, Thomas Bressie alongside me tonight. And Thomas, you're going to be heading to Richmond here on Sunday night, but an all-star race at a short track, I don't think it can get much more exciting than that.
No, I actually am very excited for this race. It's not very often that you kind of, break that sort of Charlotte kind of mode when it comes to all-star racing, but I think Richmond's a great venue for an all-star race, and I've UpperEdge is such a great series. I've heard about them for a number of years, so I'm sure that this is going to be a fantastic race tonight.
Absolutely. So these drivers just getting on track now for their single round of qualifying here. And that'll set the field for tonight's race. Only 11 drivers in the field tonight. Should mention, as we said, it is an all-star event, so only qualified drivers can race tonight. We have normally full fields in here, and we are currently looking, UpperEdge Racing is currently looking for drivers that can stay committed to the league and are very clean drivers. That's the two main things they're looking for, commitment and clean racing. So if you feel like you can fit that quota, go ahead and head over to UpperEdgeRacing.com and go ahead and hit that register button and look at all the requirements there. But minute down in qualifying here. We'll take it to the board there. As you can see, Sean Powell actually to the top at the moment with a 20.791. So again, Thomas going to be racing here on Sunday night in the High Voltage Racing League, and these being the A cars, Thomas, but 50 laps, going to have one caution in there. What do you got to do the most to take care of this car for this opening portion of the race?
Well, I think part of it's going to be just like a little bit of, a little bit of tire conservation, but not too much where you see, your traditional sort of just race. I mean, obviously with all-star events, there's segments that tend to be a lot shorter. So there won't be quite as much, but you're going to, especially this first segment, you're going to kind of have to take care of the car towards that, beginning portion of the run so that you have something later in the segment, I think. But I think as we move towards the second segment, and especially the third one, should someone choose to stay out, between the second and third segment, you can be a little bit more aggressive, but again, you still might kind of want to take care of something. And if you depending on how much you kind of save your tires during that second segment, it could open up some other strategy opportunities for that last segment.
Absolutely. That last segment, again, going to be the shortest out of it, and probably going to see the most excitement there. So if you're going to stick around for any portion of this race, at least come back should you leave for the final 15-lap segment. But overall, again, I think this race is going to be very exciting. No points on the line. These guys have nothing to lose, and really can go for broke here. You're just racing for $25 and can throw the championship out the window for just one night here.
The other thing I'm actually noticing, I'm looking at some of the practice times that we were seeing. They're a lot closer. It seemed like in practice they're a little bit more spread out so far, at least in qualifying. I know we still have a couple minutes left in the round, but definitely, at least in practice, it looked like kind of the top 9 were within about a quarter of a second, and before people sort of started dipping into the 21-second bracket. Now it's a little bit further down, although you've seen the same sort of people towards the top of the board. Carl Shed was fastest in practice. Now, he's third on the board right now. Actually, the top 3 pretty much just flipped from practice. So Sean Powell went from third in practice, and he's currently sitting on the pole. So seeing, kind of the same sort of things, but the spread I'm noticing is a little bit bigger.
And no stranger to the front, Carl Shed is, as you just mentioned, on top of the board in practice, now sitting third in qualifying. Been so good ever since the drop of the green flag at Atlanta. And just recently, 2 times in a row now, finished under the checkered flag. So looking to do it again tonight, possibly a win. However, I'm kind of hoping that he gets a win next week. That way it actually counts for points. But again, a win tonight just going to be for bragging rights and for $25. So
it's very true. And then again, what's wrong with winning tonight and next week? That's always a positive, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Especially with a race like this where it's just, it's all about bragging rights. You get a little bit of you can kind of carry a little bit of momentum into the next couple of weeks, I think.
Absolutely. This can definitely be a momentum-building race here. Even though it's not for points, can still gain some momentum as we go on through the race. Again, last week, our halfway point for the regular season, so now it's the short little stretch here to the championship run. A lot of these guys in better shape than others, but some guys could be holding stuff back for the start of the chase here. So 10 minutes left in qualifying here. It's looking like Sean Powell going to start from the top of the board with Shane Terrian not too far behind, about 3/1000ths of a second off that pole time. All right, so qualifying finishing up there. Going to take you through the grid really quick here. So it's going to be Sean Powell on pole here tonight, with Shane Tarian starting second, Carl Shedd third, Ryan Dyson fourth, Michael Fennelson fifth, Michael Arias sixth, Joseph Tice seventh, Trevor Apollo eighth, Adam Blasio ninth, Cal Watmore 10th, and Thomas Story rounding out the field here in 11th. As we mentioned before, only 11 cars here tonight. This is an all-star event, so only qualified drivers able to race tonight. We normally have full fields here. All right, so believe going to be one pace lap around here. Might be wrong on that one, but Thomas, as we get ready for the green flag here, how do you prepare yourself mentally as a driver, knowing not going to be for points, but how crazy it might be here tonight?
Well, I mean, as we've said before, there's no points on the line. I don't think there's, too much of a reason to be really conservative, but in the sense of, not being overly aggressive. But, obviously you don't want to do something that, possibly angers somebody else early in the race, and then it comes back to, to kind of bite you a little bit later on in the race. And that's the other thing about the All-Star race is that, something that might happen tonight, race car drivers don't forget. They're going to remember it next week, too. So that's another thing. So you can't be, too aggressive, but I think, pushing kind of right off the start isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Absolutely. After you said that, I was going to say this race could be a race to get your frustrations out at other drivers, but I think throughout the season we've had so far, I don't think had a lot of altercations, so... But as you said, something here could carry over later, even though not for points, as you said. And I know very well, drivers never forget.
No, they don't. They certainly don't.
Alright, so getting ready for the green flag here. Again, 100 laps tonight, 3 segments. Our lap count up there may be a little messed up due to 10 laps extra for the caution laps for the next segment, so should something be wrong there, we'll make sure to correct that for you and let you know exact lap counts here. But overall, again, racing to lap 50 on this first segment, and then should be around 3 caution laps for this next segment there, and then so that'll probably be around lap 78. We'll get back going to green somewhere around there, and then race for 53, and then race for 35 laps there, and then get set for this last segment. So drivers rolling off again. Fairly small field here tonight. Usually is for all-star events, but don't let that deceive you. Should see a lot of action here tonight. And one thing I did notice, Thomas, is we did see some of the guys taking the outside line in practice. Line really recently made popular both in real life, and it seems like it's carried over into iRacing. So again, you probably won't know too much, but what's the possibility we get that line working in here tonight?
I think it'll kind of just depend on, just sort of how the, where the people are that are at the front of the field are kind of running, because I feel like that sort of sets the tone for what people further back in the field end up doing. So, I mean, and the other thing is, this is like just kind of running that in practice also lays down a little bit of rubber now that, of course, we have dynamic tracks on here. So having a little bit of rubber up there allows these guys to, if they need to, move around, search for grip as the race moves on.
Absolutely. So possibly getting that a little bit primed for the start of the race here. But one thing to note, I believe, it does not look like Thomas Story is currently on the racetrack. So going to be 10 drivers taking the grid here tonight. Again, 100 laps, anything can happen, not for points. As the pace car pulls down, we're going to let these guys loose now. As the green flag flies, this all-star showdown is green. A good start there by the 41 of Sean Powell as they enter turn 1. That's going to be a fight for second between the 45 of Carl Shedd and the 38 of Shane Tarian.
Tarian, yeah, I was going to say, Tarian looks like he's got that spot pretty well taken care of now, and there goes the 45. Carl Shedd clear up to third now, and now the battle is on for fourth.
Yeah, between Michael Fennelson there and the 28 of Ryan Dyson. Two of those drivers racing their way in, from the sprint there. Earlier they raced that on Monday, and that was not televised. So, and again, that was 2 25-lap segments. The top 2 advanced, only 3 made it. So up front, Sean Powell looking like he's starting to pull away by a fairly lengthy gap there, but the 38 Shane Terrian right on the back bumper, not letting him get too far out ahead. And now we see the 45 of Sean Powell start to close his way back up from the restart, or from the start.
Field got single file pretty quick, so maybe these guys are thinking about being a little bit more conservative here at the start, and maybe waiting to, turn things up a little bit later on. But I'm starting to see the field kind of break up. You have like 3 little chunks, like the top 3, then you have like 4th to 6th, and then you have about 7th to 10th there. So that might just be me, but it looks like there's kind of spacing out a little bit, but I'm seeing like the 14, the 28, and then 44 are still pretty close here. 44, he's trying to find a way around Ryan Dyson there in the 28, but seems to be he might be getting a little bit loose. Looked like off of turn 2 that last time in the lap before, so maybe trying to, see what the limits are on that race car right now, but might have something for the 28 a little bit later.
Absolutely. I think this first 50-lap segment is just going to be an experiment of what you got and what you can do for these final 50 laps here. Now you can see the 44 able to get under the 28 there of Ryan Dyson. Now they're side by side. That's for the 5th position. And really, you see these guys getting single-filed, strung out here, but they're still fairly close to each other. Really, within about closest is about 2 seconds from first to last. From first to about 8th there on track. Battle for the lead heating up just a little bit there. Seemed like Shane was trying to go after the 41 of Sean Powell there. At the same time, Carl Shedd was trying to mount a charge on the 38 of Shane Terrian there.
Yeah, it looks like the 38 of Terrian's really rolling kind of into the center pretty well, especially through 3 and 4. If you saw that last time by, really was able to close up on the back of Powell there as they, went kind of through the center of the corner. See if he can do it again this time. Yeah, he's able to get it all the way to the bottom. He's able to, he pushed up a little bit there, and now he might fall back, might lose the 2nd spot here to Carl Shedd in the 45. He's going to go inside and give up that spot for now. So he's going to find a spot back in line there.
You shouldn't be too worried here about losing spots early. Again, still early here, the first segment, 50 laps. So, again, just about learning what you got here and maybe some experiences you can take from these first 50 laps and apply them in the last 50 laps here. So, as you see there, the 45, Carl Shedd, able to get around Shane Terrian. And now we'll go after the 41 of Sean Powell for the lead. Sean, one of those drivers last week, seemed like he was putting together a pretty good strategy to try and get that win at Charlotte. But some late race troubles took him out of that, so he's trying to rebound here tonight. Again, not for points, but some momentum as they go into the second half of the regular season.
Definitely looks like Sean Powell has a pretty good race car under him. He's just been very consistent since the drop of the green flag. He hasn't missed his mark. He hasn't missed a beat since the race started. And he's just slowly inching his way away from the rest of this pack.
So one thing we're eventually going to have to talk about tonight, because for this first segment again, going to have to take one mandatory green flag pit stop. As a driver, and I guess crew chief there, Thomas, with this 50-lap segment, when do you come in? Halfway, towards the end of the segment, or towards the beginning?
I'm not sure. I feel like maybe towards that middle portion might not, that's definitely not a bad place to do it. I wouldn't want to go real early, and, I would kind of like to run through the segment a little bit more, but I don't think we're really going to see people diving in before we get to the halfway mark of this first segment. We're only about 10 laps away from that. But I don't think too early is the best way to go. So, but there's a number of ways you could split it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of thinking, I don't know exactly what the tire wear is going to be here, but maybe towards the final 10 laps of it, possibly pulling in. But it's all really, I think, going to depend on where your car is throughout the run. Again, if not handling too well, maybe on older tires, bring it in earlier. And if it's handling very well, maybe bring it in towards the later portion. As you said, a lot of strategies here you can make, and ultimately it's not really going to affect too much the outcome of the race with all the segments we have. So it's going to be interesting to see when these guys actually come in, and it's looking like battle for the lead heating up now as the 45 of Carl Shedd was trying to get the nose underneath Sean Powell there, was not able to do it into one.
Of course, just as I say that, the 41 looks like he's pulling away. The 45 starts to close back in. So, but I mean, Carl Sheds looks like he's just these last couple of laps here. He's been real consistent as well, just slowly starting to kind of make some ground. But that's all. Sometimes that's all it is. It's just like you lose a little bit, and then somebody else gains a little bit, and then it flip-flops, and then that's kind of all that changes. I mean, those cars look both pretty equal right now, but they both kind of go through some phases, although it looks like there you see Carl Shedd goes pretty far down into turn one, so being a little bit more aggressive possibly into the corner, trying to make up a little bit of ground here. And it looks like the 38 is going to be coming to pit road this time, and he is.
Yes, sir. So 5 laps before halfway, Shane Terry going to bring it in on lap 20 here, and will be the first of the 10 drivers here tonight to bring it in for their mandatory green flag stop. So we'll have to see if everyone else follows behind or if they'll all stick to a different strategy.
And I think for him especially, and the 14's coming in this time as well. I was going to say, though, it definitely seems like, but just, being the first person, when everyone has to make that pit stop, being the first one to come in, especially where he was sitting, real close to the front of the field, depending how much longer, like the 41, the 45, those guys choose to stay out, he could end up coming out of this with the lead, so that could be a good strategy call. And then, as we said earlier, if you win this segment, of course, you'll be starting first for the final segment, and that's going to be important.
And looking at some of the times here that these guys spent on pit road, it's looking like, for whatever reason in my head, I assume these guys would be taking 4 tires, but no, a lot of guys, really, it's looking like maybe fuel only, possibly 2 tires here, as it looks like Carl Shedd's going to bring it down pit road, along with the 44. And before we did see the 28 and 14 bring it down pit road as well. Joseph Tice going to follow behind. It's looking like these guys are going to take 2 tires, possibly just fuel only. And again, that could shake up how these guys finish here at the end of segment 1 as well.
It could, so especially if some of these guys are choosing to, not take tires, there could be someone who just takes 2 even, so potentially just, even though there's a couple extra seconds of pit road, it might end up paying off on the racetrack, but we'll have to wait and see here.
I'd like to mention the quickest off pit road is the driver we're watching right now, the 44, Michael Araya. His pit stop was only a second, or a 1.8 second stop, so definitely playing the pit road games here tonight with everyone just about 4 seconds or so, with the looking like the 28 of Ryan Dyson there with a 3.5 second stop, but everyone else just about 8 to 9 seconds. And so yeah, those guys taking 2 tires, looking like Michael Araya possibly just a splash of fuel here to looking like going to get him the lead, currently in the first position. So
yeah, and I think now with Trevor Rappolo on pit road, he's pulling off right now. I think that should complete this cycle of pit stops here, so I think everyone will have come in.
Yes, sir, everyone has made their stop, so unless we get a caution, looking like this may be how this race plays out with Michael Araya with a currently 4.4 second lead. No stranger to victory lane here, already 4 wins on the season. So again, this one not counting for points, but definitely shown his dominance throughout the season, and looking like we're seeing it again.
Quite a battle here for that second position. The 28 of Ryan Dyson, as you see the 14 now, Michael Fennelson looking down the inside, and 38, I believe, is going to try and follow him off of turn 2 on the bottom. Not going to make it stick.
It's looking like through turns 1 and 2 there, 28 of Ryan Dyson was getting ready to get freight train there, but was able to close the door down the back straightaway and only lose 1 position, so minimize the damage there. Now it's looking like Shane going to give it another shot here as we enter 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Did the I don't actually have the pit times in front of me. Did the 28 look like he took tires on that one? Because definitely seems like there's a lot of other cars. He's going to go 3 wide here. Wow, that was tight.
You don't see that a lot at Richmond there.
No, but thinks better of that, and didn't really make that move on his own, but backs out of there to avoid any sort of incident when they got to turn 1. But definitely the 28 seems to be falling back a little bit, so I'm not sure if he just didn't take tires or what might be going on with that 28 right now.
Yeah, I don't believe he took tires. Again, a 3.5 second stop for him. So I guess, Thomas, as we get later into the race here, it's definitely going to show how fresh tires, or at least 2 tires, are going to fare against no tires on stops. So it's a good experiment for them and a good experiment for us as well. And mentioned before, Michael Araya's lead was about 4.4. That's, I'd say, slowly minimizing here, about 3.5 seconds now. Behind, or in front of the 14 there, of Michael Fennelson. Currently in the 2nd position. The 45 of Carl Shed right behind him, but not sure how long the 45 is going to be able to keep the 3rd position. And Shane Tarian looking to just plow through this field, really. Already took the 4th position away, now looking for 3rd here, and possibly more before the end of the 1st segment.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if the 14 will be able to get up here to Lariah, because I was looking at their lap times, and that last time by, the 14 was almost 0.3 of a second faster than Lariah, so he might be able to get there. I'm not quite sure, though, but it will be interesting to see. He obviously has clear track in front of him to run down the leader, so we'll have to see if he can actually make that time up here.
Just back in the field just a little bit there for the 4th position, the 41 of Sean Powell, looking like he's going to be able to get around the 38 of Shane Tarian. So as quick as we were saying, looking like the 38 is getting through the field here, all of a sudden the 48 dove to the inside of him and looking like he's going to be able to take the 4th position, and Joseph Tice looking like he's going to be able to follow suit behind him. Unfortunately, looking like that's a pretty much a trend we see here, Thomas, at short tracks, and where if you lose that dominant line, it's just like losing the draft at Daytona or Talladega. You just go straight to the back.
Yeah, that definitely can be obviously a huge problem. Thankfully, though, because, again, this is an all-star event, so there's not quite as many cars on the racetrack as there would be normally. There's a little bit more room to, kind of get back in line, so you're not going to lose as many positions, because especially when you have, like 20 or so cars or something, it feels like you're just constantly getting past. If the door opens, everyone goes through it. So, but able to find a spot in line, obviously, here in the 6th position, so that is certainly a good thing. As we have a pass for 2nd, the 45, Carl Shedd's going to get by the 14, Michael Fennelson, up there. So maybe the 14 won't be able to run down the leader, and we'll have to see if Carl Shedd is able to do it.
Yeah, just about
go ahead.
Just about 2 seconds now is the gap from the 45 to the 44. We'll have to see times of the line this time around to get a fair assessment of that. But I'd have to say, as we are coming to lap 40 here, about 10 laps left in this 1st segment, yeah, with how quick this 45's catching or closing the gap here, I believe the 45 is going to be able to get to the back bumper and most likely get around Michael Araya here before we see the yellow flag to end segment 1.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say, though, is just if the 45 and the 14 kind of got side by side, I didn't know how much, the 14 was really going to try and fight him for that spot. It would actually, it would allow, Lariah to be able to pull away even a little bit. So, but that battle didn't last very long, so it definitely looks like Carl Shedd might have a real shot here at catching the leader.
Absolutely, and you can see, as quick as we said, 2 seconds, that gap has already grown down to almost, just under a second now is the gap right there on your screen, we'll ride on board here with the 45 of Carl Shedd and see how he gets around the Richmond International Raceway, and just see how quickly that 44 grows in the front windshield of the 45. So you can see here, it's looking like segment 1, first 50 laps of this race, not a lot of guys up towards that high line there. Is wow, how much he pulled on the 44 there down the straightaway. So it's looking like... Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it looks like I thought maybe he was gonna set him up for a pass into 3, but not quite. Now he looks like he's gonna have a good run here off of turn 4.
Might be able to get the nose underneath here as the enter one. Yes, he will. So looking like new leader here, the 45 of Carl Shedd. That's actually a little bit different from what we're used to seeing here. UpperEdge is normally the 44 able to get around the 45 with how quick Michael Araya is on the longer runs, but Carl Shedd to the front with 5 laps to go here in segment 1, looking like he may be able to start on pole for the final segment here, that final 15 lap segment.
Even though it doesn't look like he's gonna be able to, kind of seal the deal here, you have to kind of tip your hat to Michael Araya here. That is definitely a very good heads-up strategy call to just do that little real quick splash and go to try and gain that track position. So just, to potentially win the segment. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to work out for him, but definitely a very smart decision to at least, make that sort of, strategy call to try and get himself in a good position here.
And now we're seeing the 44 looking like he's going to lose the second position here to the 14 of Michael Fenelson there. It's 14 to the inside, and have to see if Sean Powell is able to get underneath as well. Looking like he'll be able to get the nose underneath as we enter 3. So definitely, I'd have to say, a good strategy call on Michael Araya there. Unfortunately, just not going to work out like you thought it would. Just, I say about 10 laps too short there. And not going to have a mandatory green flag stop in this next segment, so have to see what these guys can do on a 35 lap run to really what will be the checkered flag for segment 2 here. But lap 48 here, just about 2 laps to go before we see the yellow flag to end segment 1. And Carl Shedd's already pulled out to about a second lead here. As now we see Sean Powell behind the 14 here. Might see a change for second position before the end of it. Again, no position here really going to matter except for that first position, as the winner will move on to segment 3 as the pole sitter, and the caution is out, and that will end segment 1 here. So really quickly, we'll show you where everyone ended up at the end of segment 1 here. See there, Carl Shedd going to end up on the pole for segment 3. He's going to win segment 1 there. Michael Fenelson 2nd, Sean Powell 3rd, Joseph Tice 4th, Michael Araya 5th, Shane Terrian 6th, Adam Blasio 7th, Trevor Polo 8th, Ryan Dyson 9th, and Cal Watmore 10th. Again, Thomas Dorr did not take the grid. So it was a fairly uneventful segment 1 there, Thomas, but again, I think that was just a segment of seeing what you got, not destroying your stuff too early. And with this 35 lap segment, might see the intensity pick up just a little bit here, as now we see the field really coming down pit road.
Yeah, that was one thing I was thinking. I just, considering because of the size of the field, I didn't think that we'd really see anybody stay out. I don't know how beneficial it would end up being, but everyone obviously coming down pit road, as I kind of was thinking there.
And again, this was an optional stop under this caution. These guys did not have to come down, but obviously with the early stops, they're going to want to come down and get fresh tires for this 35 lap segment, and can't imagine too many guys going to be coming down in this segment. Again, no mandatory stops, so you're not forced to. And it's looking like Michael Fenelson might have gotten the lead coming out pit road. I believe he did.
That was very close. Wow.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick little replay there just to show you how quick that was. Just barely beat out the pole sitter here, the 41 of Sean Powell there. Yeah, not too much room there as they exited pit road with the 14 going through just about everyone to make sure he got out first. And so we'll show you where everyone ends up after the pit stop and how they'll line up for segment 2 here. So it'll be Michael Fenelson starting on the front row with Sean Powell second, Michael Araya third, Joseph Tice fourth, Shane Terrian fifth, Adam de Blasio sixth, Trevor Apollo seventh, Ryan Dyson eighth, Cal Watmore ninth, and Carl Shedd 10th. So with that, we'll show you how segment 2 is going to play out here. Again, just finishing up segment 1, so segment 2, 35 laps, an optional pit stop during the break, and as you saw, the whole field coming down. And again, the winner of this race will line up second on the restart for segment 3. Alright, so looking like probably 2 to go this time. So I imagine lap 56 is going to get the green here.
Yeah, it looks like in the 45 of Carl Shedd just came down pit road in his pit box. He just got some communication, said that he lost audio. So looks like he might be trying to resolve that here, but it looks like should he be able to get it fixed here quickly, he's going to be restarting from the tail end of the field for this segment. And he's rolling again, so hopefully for him those issues are resolved.
Yeah, well, the good thing for him is he doesn't have to worry about trying to go out and win this one as well. Obviously, if he can, he'd love to, but no pressure on him as he'll already be starting on the pole for this final 15-lap segment. So yeah, 1 to go here now until we get the green for segment 2. That'll be 35 laps. And looking like around lap 91 here on the board is going to be when we get the yellow flag, and that'll end segment 2. And then they'll re-rack in pit road, take their pit stops, and then set to go for the final 15-lap segment here. So pace car pulls down. Michael Fenelson, the leader for segment 2. The green flag is out, and a great start for that 14. 41, Sean Powell going to have to battle his teammate there, Michael Fenelson, in the 44. Have to see who wins that battle as we enter 3 here, but Michael Fenelson already slowly scooting away here.
You know, looks like 44, Michael Araya is going to be able to get clear here for that second position. So, see if, and wow, Shane Terrian down on the inside there into turn 1 really sent it off into turn 1.
Absolutely,
No,
he's looking for more here.
Yeah, very close racing here with the 5. I think that's, yeah, it looks like that's about the only side-by-side battle going on right now. But he's going to try to shoot down into turn 1 again. Still side-by-side, can't quite get the run he needs. I mean, especially also the 5. He's going to get, because now you see he's going to, a little crossover maybe? Wow, that was close.
You were what? Oh, and the 5 just ties a little internet issues there, but it was looking like the back there saw out of the corner of the screen the 28. Oh, Ryan Dyson into the back of the 9, Trevor Polo there. Don't think that was intentional. Probably just a little bit of a better run. As looked like he was really diving it down as they entered 3 there, and thought he was about to really clean out the 9 of Trevor Polo there, but looking like all good there. Ryan looking like he may be struggling with the handling of that race car there. Hasn't really been able to get up on the wheel as we've seen him been able to do. Currently slotted 8th right now. And Carl Shedd again still running back here in the 10th position. Not a lap down yet, so looking like he may be off the pace just a little bit though. As we go back up front there. Actually, we'll go back to the 3rd position there as that race is going to be heating up between the 41 of Sean Powell and the 38 of Shane Terrian. Shane just so aggressive entering the corners, and for good reason there. Trying to get all he can entering the corners, and looking like he's going to be able to get 3rd here from Sean Powell. Actually, the 41 going to have the power exiting the corner.
He's going to see if maybe he can get that high lane to work. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if that would come in maybe a little bit later in the race, if they'd be able to kind of enter a little bit higher and then come down the racetrack as they got towards the exit of the corner to get a really nice straight shot onto the straightaway. That's a lot of S's in that sense there. But you're seeing he's really getting a great run off the corner, so really being able to carry that momentum down the straightaway. You see, he's just because of that, the 38 just cannot quite get him cleared. Not yet, at least.
And you can just see right there in that shot, just the speed the 41 has on exit. The 38 drives it in real hard, entering the corner, but the 41 just hasn't beat exiting the corner.
As we say that, looks the 38 finally able to get it clear of the 41 of Sean Powell.
And not for a lack of trying as well, so he'll try and chase down the 44 of Michael Araya here, about 2 seconds ahead. And Michael's still trying to get around the 14 of Michael Fennelson there. About 4/10 is the gap, but the 14 been fairly strong out front here. So we'll go back just a little bit there. Is that really the battle for third, fourth, and fifth? Looking like it's about to heat up here. Adam de Blasio in the 94 there. The winner at Las Vegas. Trying to get to the 4th position past the 41 of Sean Powell here. As you can see, just behind them, the 28 of Ryan Dyson was able to successfully get around the 9 of Trevor Apollo. It's looking like, not sure if it was just a missed corner there, but the 9 looked like he may be trying to take a higher entrance into the corner, thinking he might have just missed the corner there. So,
I mean, and the other thing is, where kind of he's running right now in that 7th position, maybe looking for just a little bit more speed out of that race car. So just kind of moving around a little bit, because I mean, sometimes even just the slightest change in a line that you're running can really change the speed that you're able to get out of the race car. So it might just be looking around a little bit here as this run goes on.
and it's looking like for that battle for 4th, Sean Powell very aggressive, trying to get to the top, entering the corner, almost slid that car out and allowed the 94 to catch a little bit of ground up to the back of the 41. But
speaking of battles, the battle for the lead is beginning to heat up as Michael Araya in the 44 has finally gotten to the back bumper of the 14 of Michael Finlayson here.
yes, sir, just about under a tenth there is the battle, and as you can see, right to the back bumper, the 44 is to Michael Finlayson. And off the corner, it was looking like the 14 was going to be able to pull away just a little bit there, but now 44 trying to stick the nose underneath the 14, try and catch him looking, and now he's going to be able to successfully get the nose underneath. And I believe around the 36 laps to go mark is when we're going to see the caution to end segment 1, should my math be correct. So, actually, no, excuse me. Well, that was pretty redundant there. It's going to be a long final segment then. So. So still a long ways to go in this. Don't mind me, I'm going a little bit crazy there, but got really two battles on track right now between the lead there, Michael Finlayson and Michael Araya, and then back here for the 4th position, the 41 of Sean Powell and the 94 of Adam de Blasio. Both battles within about 2/10 of each other. Not looking like either driver getting too far on trying to advance a position.
Yeah, I've been watching the 44 here of Michael O'Reilly these last couple laps. He's been able obviously to close up on the 14, but their cars look pretty equal. I mean, as we saw, it took it took him a little while to actually catch up to Michael Finlayson here. So he's just now it's because they've been the 14 got real loose off of turn 2 there. Now he might be able to make the pass. Not quite.
Thought he was going to be able to get the nose underneath, but as you said, not quite. So the 14 can be able to hold it for this lap, but how much longer is he going to be able to fend off the 44 here?
Yeah, the two of them have been running very similar lines, this segment of the race, so it's going to be, a little bit more difficult, obviously, here for Loretta to actually be able to make that pass, otherwise they'll have to kind of move around a little bit, maybe, or you could always use the bumper a little bit as, classic short track racing goes, but maybe save that for the third segment.
Yeah, I think that's just really going to be a question of how desperate do you get to try and get on the front row for the final segment. And I guess that's going to be a question that's going to have to be answered here as we get into the final laps of segment 2. Looking like we're closing around 10 laps to go here. I think we're probably going to see the caution with around 19 laps to go.
We've just been watching the 44 able to roll through the center of the corner really, really well. He just doesn't seem to quite be able to carry the momentum he needs to off of the corner, and that's, I think, really the only reason that the 14 is able to kind of maintain that lead. It's just he's able to get off the corner really well right now. And you see him going a little bit lower into turn 1, possibly taking a bit more of a defensive line. Maybe kind of knows the 44 is a little bit quicker here. And just trying to do what he can to maintain that position so he can sit on the front row for this next segment.
Absolutely. It looked like he was getting a little bit loose there on the back straightaway, but I'm just looking at, as you said, how different these lines are. It just seems like the 14 leaves a little bit off the bottom of the racetrack, but doesn't really seem to hurt him off the exit. But now it's looking like, I thought the 44 was going to be able to put the nose underneath, but not quite yet. Well,
whoa, there he goes.
Well,
now he's got the nose in there.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it off the corners side by side. These two are going to be exiting 2. But as we go into 3, have to see if the 44 is able to get the power off the corner, and 14 is still battling pretty hard there on the outside, not letting him get away too quickly here. And now it's looking like the 44 finally has Michael Finlayson cleared. Alright, so put the 44 of Michael Raya out front. Should he win segment 2 here, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty familiar front row with Carl Shedd and Michael Raya. These two have been the most dominant drivers so far in the 2016 season, and it'd be pretty cool to see them first and second for this final segment. Speaking of Carl Shedd, he's gained 2 positions from his little pit road debacle and getting to the green for the second round, so up to 8th he is. Mentioned earlier as well, Adam de Blasio fighting for that 4th position. He was able to get it from the 41 of Sean Powell. And overall, though, it's looking like these guys pretty calm here as we watch. It's looking like a battle for 3rd now between the 38 of Shane Tarian and the 94 of Adam de Blasio.
Got very close out of turn 2 that time by. And I've been kind of keeping an eye on them these last, handful of laps here, and there's the caution.
So that'll put an end to segment number 1 here, or excuse me, segment number 2. My counting is just all wrong tonight, but so these guys now, as the caution comes out, they're all going to come down pit road one time, and once they cycle out there, they're going to come around again, come down, and then the officials will guide them out on where they will be starting for this final segment. So really, I think this is just going to be the money pit stop. Besides the 45 and 44, those guys don't have to worry about. For the rest of them, I think this pit stop is going to mean everything as we go into the final 15-lap segment.
Absolutely. The other thing worth noting, though, it looks like the audio issues that the 45 was having have yet to be resolved, unfortunately, but hopefully, I mean, it didn't seem like it was, I mean, obviously it's just the audio, so hopefully he'll be able to, get after it here on this final segment, but we'll see if that possibly factors into things here.
So interestingly, the 41 of Sean Powell going to take 2 tires on this caution. So I believe these guys are going to be coming down pit road again, yes, to cycle everything out. And we'll take you through where they'll be starting as these guys come around again. While they get all sorted out, we're going to take a quick break here and then bring you back for the final segment here, the final 15-lap segment. And I wouldn't want to miss that if I were you. That's going to be, I'd have to say, pretty entertaining and pretty wild, if I'd have to take a guess. So we'll be right back and take you to the checkered flag. And welcome back to the Richmond International Raceway for the 2016 UpperEdge All-Star Showdown for the UpperEdge Racing London Recreational Cup Series, powered by Road Life. Getting ready to finish off this race with the final 15-lap segment, and just talking under that break, who we got for this final segment. I picked this 45 as I have just about every race. And Thomas, I don't think we got who you are picking for this final segment.
Yeah, no, well, we didn't, but yeah, I don't know if I could disagree with you, but I mean, the 44 definitely, Michael Lariah looks, he's definitely a strong race car tonight. So, I mean, those guys obviously have shown their speed, with these, just being towards the front here. So, we will have to wait and see, I believe, as Race Clark would say. Correct?
You got that exactly right. And before we get going green here, we'll take you through where they will all start here for this final segment. Again, Carl Shedd going to be on the pole for this final segment, winning segment number 1. Michael Lariah winning segment 2. Going to be starting second. Sean Powell third with an interesting 2-tire strategy. That should be interesting as we take the green here. Michael Fendelson going to be 4th. Shane Terry in 5th. Adam de Blasio 6th. Ryan Dyson 7th. Trevor Apollo 8th. Cal Watmore 9th. And Joseph Tice 10th. And imagine going to see one more delayed green here to get to we're actually going with 15 laps to go here. But yeah, the two-tire two-tire strategy for this 41 here. Thomas, I don't know your take on it, but I just, with literally the entire field taking 4 tires, I just don't see a really good choice for that. But it's looking like we're going to get going green here for this final segment. 15 laps to go. And 41 already 3 wide in the middle, so...
I'm going to sort that 3 wide battle out. Now they're 2 by 2 as they head down the back straightaway. Man, that got crazy in a hurry. And wow, maybe the 2 tires, we were wondering about how that would work out on that 41. He's holding, he's hanging in there on that top side of the racetrack for fighting for a second with the 38. 38 comes up the hill a little bit here. Still side by side down the back.
One guy that really got hurt in that restart was the 44, Michael Rayev. Restarted second, now he's back in 5th, stuck behind the 41 of Sean Powell with the 2 tires.
Yeah, meanwhile, the 45 is just gone right now. Now we finally see there's the 38 of Shane Terry and finally able to get clear of the 41, so maybe we'll see if he's able to run down the 45 of Carl Shed here.
He's got 14, now 13 laps to do it, so that time around, no real difference in terms of times, but we'll have to see what the difference is here. Wow, this battle back here, really from 2nd all the way to 10th, they've been strung out the whole race. Now they're all bunched together. You can see the 9 of Trevor Polo there stuck 3 wide, thinking he got a little bit loose as they exited the corner.
The 41 just got into the wall a little bit on the front stretch. Not sure if he got loose out of turn 4 there, but scraped the wall. He's going to lose a few positions here.
Take a look at that. It's been a crazy couple of laps here. Yeah, pretty hard contact into the wall, as you mentioned, and now he's fallen all the way back to the 9th position, maybe about to lose that. So that time around, the 45 faster than the 38 by about a 10th, so I think unless we get a caution or the 38 finds some speed, I think we might finally see this 45 in victory lane.
Battle for second.
Yeah.
The 14 looking to the inside. Nope, not going to... Oh, he's going to get a 38.
They'll
no,
all go
caution.
around. Is anyone going to hit this 14? Everyone's going to be able to miss him, but our first caution of the night here, at least for non-admin called cautions, we'll take a look at what just happened there, but we've been seeing these guys try and really every time they entered the corner, they throw it in so hard, and looking like it finally got to the point where people stopped giving and a lot of people tried taking.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that. We've been seeing, the 38 just really drive into the corner very far and just kind of push up a little bit in the middle, and the 14's been rolling through the center really well tonight, and they just kind of got together a little bit there. Fortunately for both of them, it didn't look like they got a lot of heavy contact. The only thing I would be concerned about maybe is also the 44 Michael Araya, and possibly a little bit of front end damage got into the back of the 14 in that melee.
As you said, I think it was just a case of them coming together. So 3 of those drivers will come down pit road. The 38, the 14, and I believe the 36 as well. And I don't believe they'll be able to make it back to the front here. So now this 44, as you mentioned, I don't think he has too much front end damage, if any, but he's going to get another shot at this restart after a pretty bad one on the initial restart. So
yeah, just had a chance to look at the front end of that 44. I just wasn't really sure how hard he actually got into the back of the 14, but it doesn't look too bad. A little bit of damage up there, but it's Richmond. What's a little bit of damage going to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not an aerodynamic dependent racetrack here, so don't have a lot to lose. Yeah, as you said, doesn't look like too much damage, if any, so he should be good to go. There we go. On this restart. And with like we're going to get going with possibly 5 laps to go. Don't think that's the end of the craziness before we get to the checkered flag. Now, with 5 laps to go, should we get another caution, this race will end under the yellow flag. So, hoping that won't be the case. Hoping we get a very exciting finish all the way to the white and checkered flag, but it's looking like going to get a restart actually with 4 laps to go, as pace car lights have not gone off.
I'm going to be very curious to see how the 44 is on this restart, Michael Araya. I'm just curious to see, especially after that last restart, didn't quite get the restart he wanted to and drop back a little bit, just knowing that, I mean, this is literally going to be the money restart. So, you know, how aggressive is he going to be? How far is he going to drive into turn 1 on this restart to try and stay with that 45?
Absolutely. If you've waited all night to be aggressive, I think now's the time. You're going to want to have to push it here. And should the 44 win this race, that caution that we just had was the absolute lifesaver for Michael Araya. Again, a bad restart put him back to 5th. Was stuck behind the 41 with 2 tires. So now he's going to get another restart here on the outside of the front row, where he restarted on the initial start of segment 3, and he'll get another shot at it. Again, if the caution comes out, this race will be over. So restart with 4 laps to go. I think this is, we said before, going to be pure chaos to the checkered flag.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here, and you got to obviously also watch from that second row to see if they try to drive it. And wow, the 45 is gone. Green flag.
Be interesting to see if they call a jump start on that one. But as you said, here comes the 28 of Ryan Dyson.
Wow.
A very aggressive move to try and get underneath the 94 of Adam de Blasio there. There's still 3 wide on the back straightaway. The 5 of Joseph Tice stuck in the middle, and they'll go 3 wide into the corner again. The 9 of Trevor Polo going to get hit in the quarter panel. The 5 going around, going to be able to save it, and we'll stay green. Wow.
That picked up quickly, didn't it? And
absolutely,
the battle for second has not died out either. The 44 is still side by side here with the 94. Adam de Blasio finally now it looks like the 94, he's going to get that second position here.
And as those guys battled side by side, that allowed the 45 of Carl Shed to pull away. And now it's looking like it's Carl's race to lose here, as the 94 going to be able to get to second. Question is, can the 44 Michael Araya get around him? Going to put the nose underneath, entering 3. And side by side down the front straightaway. White flag. 1 more lap to go here for Carl Shed.
Ryan Dyson down through the grass there on the front straightaway. It's still side by side for a second.
Coming to the checkered flag is the 45. Hasn't seen a lot of checkered flags, but he's going to be the first one to it tonight. 45 Carl Shed, the winner of the All-Star Showdown here at Richmond. Adam de Blasio going to be able to get that second spot from the 44 of Michael Araya. And what a crazy finish to this final segment. That last restart was, I think, the definition of insanity there. And now we see the 44 of Michael Araya congratulate the 45 Carl Shed. Again, Carl hasn't seen a lot of checkered flags this season. He's been running fast ever since the drop of the green flag at Atlanta. You're going to take the first win, again, not for points, but the first win of 2016 with the All-Star Showdown. So while he does the burnouts here, going to take a quick break, get everyone settled in for interviews, and finally talk to this 45 in victory lane. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Richmond International Raceway here for the 2016 UpperEdge All-Star Showdown for the UpperEdge Racing London Recreational Cup Series, powered by Road Life. And what a race it was, especially that final segment and that final restart. And it's all Carl Shedd going to victory lane for the first time in 2016. But before we talk to him, we'll take you through where everybody finished tonight. So again, Carl Shedd going to victory lane, Michael Araya coming home second, Adam de Blasio third. I had initially said the 94 got Michael, but my scoring was wrong. So Shane Terrian coming home fourth, Michael Fennelson fifth, Cal Watmore sixth, Trevor Apollo seventh, Ryan Dyson eighth, Joseph Tice ninth, and Sean Powell coming home 10th on those two tires. And again, Thomas Dorr did not take the grid, so now we'll talk to the man in victory lane here tonight.
Pit strategy.
Ooh, sorry about that. Carl, you got us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right. Well, finally, we get to talk to you in victory lane and put a full race together tonight. And it seemed like, other than the 44, you had the most dominant car here tonight. And imagine it was pretty unorthodox race for you with all the segments not normally doing that. But walk us through your race, and we know you had some issues with audio there after the first segment.
Yeah, first segment was nice and fun. Just kind of settle in and run the line. And, Lariah always has such great pit strategy. So I'm glad I got to follow him in and kind of cheat off his sheet there a little bit. But yeah, coming off of the first segment, we got into segment two, and right at the start, the audio was just gone. I couldn't hear race control. I couldn't hear my car. So I just thought, here we go again, boys. We have a segment. We got the front line, but we won't be able to hear to drive the car. So, we spent the middle segment there. We had 35 laps. I was like, well, we can cry about it, or we can spend 35 laps trying to figure out how we drive without sound. So I just got behind the pack and settled in, and got fortunate that my teammate raced alongside Lariah there a bit to give me a gap to relax. So I thank Adam for that, and feel like there's a pretty good show out there tonight.
Absolutely. So the audio came back at one point, I'm assuming, or was that just gone the rest of the race?
Yeah, in between segments, I was trying to unplug my USB audio and get it back in, and it came back for a few seconds, stuttered, and then disappeared again. So we were without audio from the end of the first segment till I actually restarted just to come in here so I could talk to you fellas.
All right. Well, again, your first victory here. Probably should have got at least 3 more throughout the regular season, but your first one under the belt, again, not for points, but what does this do heading into Indy with the momentum you're building here tonight?
It's good for my mental health, I think, just to see the checkered flag, to have a problem, face adversity, and still get the win. So I feel pretty happy. I got the support of my teammates. I'd like to thank those guys, Adam, Trevor, and Joseph, really positive people to run with. Great league, good guys to race with, makes it easy to lose to them because they're good guys whenever you get beat. So I thank those guys for the challenge, and Ryan and Joseph and Lariah for the work they do adminning. And it's been fun, man. I'm looking forward to some more. We'll just settle in and run what we got.
All right. So safe to say I can pick you for Indy next week as well. So congratulations on win number 1 there, and don't spend that $25 all in one place. I know it's extremely hard to do that nowadays.
Yeah, 10-4, Justin, and I'm glad I could finally deliver one for you. I heard you'd pick me once or twice, and I let you down. So glad maybe I could get you one finally.
Oh, it was much more than once or twice, but
well, I'm glad I could hook you up for once. I appreciate that, man.
all right.
Have a good night, fellas.
You too. All right, so now we'll bring in our second place finisher here, Michael.
We have the long run speed. Oh, hello.
Hello. I seem to keep bringing people in at the wrong time, but I take it you got us. So that race seemed first of all, that first pit strategy there, it was looking like you just took maybe a gallon of fuel there with a 1.8 second stop, and seemed like that might have been the good strategy, but that last go ahead.
Yeah, if the segment was maybe a couple laps shorter, it was gonna pay off for me, but I saw them starting to catch me with about 5 to go, and I knew it wasn't going to work out. So I just tried to do my best to hold them off and at least get a little bit better of a finish there in that first segment.
And one thing, that final restart, it seemed like the initial restart, the 15 lap to go restart, Not sure what happened to you, but dropped back to fifth and was stuck behind your teammate Sean Powell with the 2 tires there. I have to imagine that last restart must have been a lifesaver for you as you went back to green with 4 to go, where you started initially.
Oh yeah, it was huge to get that caution there at the end to at least give me a chance of having another go at it. I just did not get that good of a restart there, and the other guys are able to capitalize and make it 3 wide. And once it was 3 wide, it was just trying to hang on and not get wrecked. So um, I'm. It was actually, I mean, it's an all-star event and you want to win, but to get a second out of that with those circumstances, it's not too bad.
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, Carl Shed, the man you've been battling basically all season, finally got you for one, and might see him again at Indy, especially you two up front. That seems to be the normal trend. So, congratulations on second. Again, doesn't mean too much in an all-star race, but as you said, with the race you had, it's pretty good to finish in the second position. So, I guess we'll talk to you again at Indy, possibly in Victory Lane with the streak you guys are on.
Yeah, I mean, I've been having a blast battling Carl every week. I mean, he's a great competitor, and I always know racing around him, I can trust him on track. So yeah, definitely expect to see us battling throughout the season. I'm looking forward to Indy too. It's going to be a lot of fun there.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on second, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, take it easy, guys.
All right. So now we'll bring in our third place finisher, Adam de Blasio. Adam, you got us?
I do.
All right. Well, it's been a pretty good trend. Been about the third time we've talked to you in a row, so it must mean you're doing something right. And just barely lost that battle for a second there on the white flag coming to the checker. But overall, I'd say it was a pretty good night for you tonight.
Oh yeah. It started out with me not knowing how many laps this All-Star race had. I didn't really do any research on it, so I just went in, and then in the drivers' meeting, I found out that there was a 50, then a 35, and then a 15 lap segment, and then I figured out with the pit stops and stuff, and I just played it by ear at that point. But yeah, it was a pretty good race.
Well, yeah, going into this race blind, I'd say coming out third isn't too bad. So as we talk to the other competitors looking forward to Indy and looking like you're on a pretty good streak, what do you got for them there?
Indianapolis is the next track.
Yes.
Not a fan of the 2.5 mile flat track of Indy, to be honest. It's not one of my best tracks, but there's a reason why they run the races, and I look forward to giving them a run for their money like I did tonight. Richmond isn't actually one of my best tracks either, and I somehow got the podium. But yeah, racing with Lariah at the end, we did not touch once. It may have looked close, but we did not touch once, and because of that, I'm content with finishing third to him. It was really clean. I applaud him for that.
All right. Well, congratulations on third there, and we hope to talk to you next week and continue this trend.
Yeah, as always, I gotta plug my sponsors. I gotta thank Proto Simtech for being on the car once again. I gotta thank my teammates of Carl, Trevor, and Joe for being awesome teammates. Gotta thank you guys at Full Throttle TV for broadcasting this all-star race. It's always fun to watch afterwards. And something that I keep forgetting, and I shouldn't, but my brother, Eric de Blasio, he's up there on the spotter stand and crew chief box telling me what to do and how many tires to take and lap times and all that stuff. So I forgot to thank him at Vegas and at wherever I last got interviewed. I forgot the track, but Eric, he did a good job, and he got after me for not mentioning him. So yeah.
Well, absolutely. I'd say getting you a win at Vegas definitely should be plugged, but finally gets the credit he deserves. And so yeah, finally you plug him. And again, we thank you for your time here tonight and hope to talk to you next week.
10-4. Hopefully I can keep this streak of podium finishes alive.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight at the Richmond International Raceway. Again, next week, taking you to Indy. And before that, however, we're going to take you to Richmond again for the High Voltage Racing League, the final race there. And Thomas, you're going to be in that one. And before we talk about that, I want to thank you for filling in for Michael on such short notice, and I'm sure he appreciates it as well.
Not a problem. I had a lot of fun broadcasting this race tonight. I had a lot of fun broadcasting alongside you. And Michael, whenever you get a chance to watch this, we hope everything is going well for you. We hope you're staying safe, and everybody else who's going to be dealing with the effects of the hurricane this week.
So really quickly before we go, just give us a little preview into what we'll see on Sunday. Again, not running Saturday the normal time due to the Cup race at Charlotte, so be racing on a Sunday. Give us a little insight on what we can see for that race.
Well, hopefully a good race like we saw here tonight. Just the end of the regular season, we'll be able to see if my teammate and my good friend Casey Shu is able to finally make his way into the chase. Obviously, there's no more spots to get in on points. So if he's gonna get in, then he's gonna have to do it in a big way. So we'll see if he can do that. But I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great race.
And as are we. So again, we thank you, Thomas, for filling in, and we thank you for watching here tonight. So for Thomas Bressi, I'm Justin Kolb. Thank you for watching, and we should see you Sunday for the Richmond season finale, regular season finale for the High Voltage Racing League.